been having some ongoing problems with my Esprit in that it will run okay for about 20 minutes and then it gets hot and then it starts misfiring and eventually cuts and dies, particularly at low revs. Now, I've replaced the entire ignition system already, the lumination, the plugs, the distributor cap, the rotor arm, coil, everything. And that doesn't seem to have fixed the problem. So now I'm turning my attention to the fueling, and I wanted to change the fuel pump because I'm running a non-standard fuel pump. So just looking at the fuel pump and going to change this out. So this is an aftermarket one, a Facet PosiFlow. By all accounts, a competition fuel pump. So it's probably delivering quite a lot of fuel, but whether it's getting through the regulator, I don't know. So what I'm going to do is swap it out for an SU, which is more like the original fit. Having isolated the battery, the next thing I want to do is going to put a clamp on there and on there, so that I can stop I don't have to drain the tanks then. That'll allow me to remove this without getting too much fuel all over the place. So the clamps are in place, and I can now remove these clips either side of the pump without fear of getting fuel all over the place or without getting too much over the place. So in taking this off, look, I can just make out a little split in the pipe just there. That certainly won't be helping the fueling and will be causing a bit of spillage as well. So that's good to find that. I can I'll cut it here and reattach. I managed to get this end off fairly easily, but the other end is quite in a tricky position. There's not a lot of leverage. I think one of the reasons why that split is there is because it's been bent round. This sort of chassis plate. It's obviously too tight or too tight a bend on that. The replacement fuel pump has got the outlets in a different place, so hopefully that will be sorted out. Given that that's split anyway, I'm going to just cut it. Let's got that off. It's just a little end piece. Probably come off like this, but otherwise I'll take it off once the pump is off. I think I'll do that here. So yeah, all I've got to do is just a couple of bolts or a couple of nuts and probably an electrical connection. So that, I'm not worried about that. That is something that used to be there. There used to be a kind of like a switch inside the car to isolate the fuel pump. I thought it was a really silly thing to do actually, but it's not a bad idea to be fair, because sometimes when you're testing things and you end up putting the ignition on, the pumps go straight away and you don't necessarily want it to. So just guessing that it was a 10mm, and indeed it is. There you go, finally out. Took a bit of doing. These cables were kind of wrapped up in that sort of cloth, very sticky cloth tape. So we managed to get them out, just sort of dangling from it, and also managed to get the last piece of rubber off the end of that spigot. But yeah, that'll be probably going on eBay because there's nothing wrong with it, it's working. So I've received this box today in the post. I think I ordered it just not yesterday, day before, and it said it will come within 5 working days, but here it is within 2, so that's good. And it's from Berlin, the company that owns the SU brand. It's just the bracket to mount it, but in here should be a fuel pump for my Lotus Esprit. and it's the kind of original equipment for Lotus. Well, the difference being, instead of buying a mechanical one pump with points, this is their version of it that has electronics in the top. So yeah, there we go. Inlet and outlet there, and then the electrical connections on top. So it doesn't actually come with any connections, it just comes with blanking pieces in them. So I'm going to have to figure out what connections I'm going to need. Anyway, thank you very much. So with the old, or not so old pump off, I've got the new kind of original equivalent to fit. So it's an SU. It's actually it's an electronic pump, so it's got no points in it. But it's got a couple of different fixings. The original fixings would have been through these with bolts, I think, done up from behind the passenger seat. But I've also got like a strap to go around the body of it, so I'll see which one fits the best. So this is option one. If I use the strap, it kind of goes like that. So there's just about enough room there. The inlet on the bottom there and the outlet at the top. Or I try and mount it through those threaded mounts that are already there that way, which kind of is neater. But it's going to mean me taking the seat out so I can get to the other ends of these to undo that plate. So I can then mount it to the plate and then screw the plate back in. I think those are captive nuts on there and there, so it means that I'll screw it in from inside. So there we go, a new pump is in place. So I need to connect up this one to there. That's the inlet coming from the pump, from the tanks, and then we've got this one already hooked up for going up to the carburetors. I'll tidy up these cables once I've tested that it's actually going. So these need to do up these banjos. They're just finger tight at the moment, and I think yeah, that's pretty solid in place. I use the strap to clamp rather than mess about trying to get screws or bolts through the bodywork. So fingers crossed it'll be okay. So there we are, clamps are off, electric's back on, all tested, makes a lovely sort of ticking sound and then stops, and then sort of just keeps going just to keep the pressure up. So very pleased with that. Not the tidiest job, but it's really difficult working on this under a car when you've got no ramp. One day. Well, the new pump is fitted and it is working, but I'm going to have to wait until the next video to tell you whether or not it's fixed the issue, because maybe rather stupidly, while I was waiting for the pump to be delivered, I decided to take out the instrument panel and change all the illumination to LEDs, which turned out to be a bigger job than I thought, because now I've got to modify all the wiring so that the panel fits in more easily. Anyway, there we go. Such is life with classic cars. Thank you very much for watching this. Please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.